Welcome back to another triathlon podcast brought to you by Mana Apparel. This is it. We are fully into the championship season. We've got the Ironman World Championships in Nice this weekend for the men. And wow, is there a killer field. I don't know if we've seen a field this competitive in quite a while, and all of the big stars are out there. So we are going to break it down and make some predictions what we think is going to happen and who to watch for in the pro field. But first, let's catch up with the crew and see what they've been up to. Let's start off with you, Fede. What's going on?
Yeah, I so before we started recording, I was talking to Josh that I got an email for the New York Marathon that today was my last day to check
After
in
I
on the
updated him
A
last
week
week.
ago.
No, but hey, li listen to me. Last week was the booth pickup. This week was the bus ride to the start line. So of course, I did that last minute and picked whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna get there by myself. Don't worry about me. I do not need a bus. So yeah, that's up with me. I did 100K bike ride last weekend. Felt good, and
Awesome.
a little of a run up the bike. So yeah, doing the volume, like the longer hours on the bike to save the legs for the quality and for the tempos and all of that. And I think that especially us as triathletes, when we're getting ready for a marathon, that it's like a cheat code to be able to spend hours and hours on end on the bike and then
Mhm.
just do the quality on the run. That saves the legs so much. Yes, I'm tired, but injury prevention wise, I think that's a way to go. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
still
that's
get that aerobic volume in, and it's just so much less stressful on your body. It's crazy.
I sent him a
Totally.
message afterwards too. I was like, it was great to finally see some Fede on the bike content that we haven't been seeing. I was like, there's the guy that we missed. There's the one that we know.
yeah,
So that was
right.
good to see on our end. I've actually had a
Yeah.
bunch of people ask that are battling some niggles injuries, getting into late marathon training, and whether or not they could replace long runs with bike sessions if because it was that bad of the pain that they were dealing with currently. And sure enough, people were out there riding the bike. I mean, as we all know,
Mm.
that fitness does translate. It's not the same. You're not getting that time on the feet. And really there's been a lot of stuff that I've been reading in this marathon block, especially about if you are somebody who's putting in a lot of miles per week, it's not so much about the 22-mile long run. It's not so much about it's really about that time, the 2 hour, the 2:30 mark. And you don't really need to go longer. It doesn't have to be 22 hours, 22 miles or whatever it may be. So it's really more about the time and not so much the distance that a lot of those higher echelon athletes that are training at. So I think it's really just a more matter for me. It hit because I didn't finish my long run on Saturday. I got most of it done. I rolled my ankle coming in with 2 miles to go, and I was like, this isn't worth it to run another 2 miles, and I'd rather get home and get some ice on this and prevent anything from happening. And sure enough, it's fine. So
Yeah.
now I got to jump. It was supposed to be 14 miles at pace, and
Wow.
yeah, it was a big effort. So now this week's 16 miles at pace with 20
Oof.
total. But really just breaking it down mile by mile. So like, hey, I can handle 7 minutes. I can handle 6:45. I can like that, like just that time in as opposed to the total distance itself. And I've started to find like different tracks to do it on, like out and backs, and like, hey, I can get to the end and turn around and go
Mm.
back. And like it just different ways to break it all up. This block means a lot to me, so it's been really important to find different ways to stay motivated and find different ways to like even today I ran my 6 mile my by mile repeats on a different road that I've never run on before, really, other than like a long run like jog. And I found it was like a dead mile straight and with one little turn, and so I didn't have to worry about turning or traffic really much. And out and back. One was a little hillier going up, one was a little downhill coming back. So kind of good little out and back repeats. But yeah, I've just I've missed seeing Fed doing all his workouts, so it's good to have him back getting ready for New York. And it's going to be a nice little rendezvous if he ever gets to the start line and gets his.
Yeah. Rendezvous. Yeah.
Oh,
But
that'll be good.
Oh man.
I'll be following his footsteps on that day. Chicago's looking good, and today was like one of the first days I've run in weather that could potentially be Chicago weather, or what I hope to be Chicago weather. It's been like it was like 40 something degrees here this morning. I was like driving my daughter to school at 6:30, and it was 47 degrees. I was like, this would be perfect at 7 a.m. on October 12th.
Yeah.
Deal. That's awesome. Well, good to hear that it's going well and you're kind of getting that volume and listening to your body when things come up. That's the biggest thing, right? Because so many athletes would push through that ankle deal and just, oh, no, it's fine. I got to get the miles in, got to hit this magic number, and ignore those signs from the body. And that is not the right way to go. Instead, pulled up, ice it, and you're good to keep training.
Yeah. The knowing what I did in Boston really helps with that mindset too, because look, my longest run, I did a couple weekends of 14 miles and ran my PR at Boston. So having that in my head and knowing that as long as I get to the start line fresh at this point, there's a lot of boxes we can check along the way still. And today was one of them. And the long run this weekend is going to be a really big one. But even if I don't hit it perfectly, I still know I'm in way better shape. Like
Yeah.
those Facebook memories and Strava memories are hilarious right now. Like what I was doing before Chicago last year on these dates, and I was like, and two years ago, I was getting ready to run my first ever marathon tomorrow, and that ended up being a 4:35 marathon. So I think I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that's interesting you bring up that that 2 hour mark is kind of where the pros and fast runners will kind of call it in there. For age groupers, it's around that 3 hours. 3 hours is kind of that tipping point where if you run more than that, the risk and the level of fatigue often aren't worth it, right? So even if you're going to be doing on the course for 4.5 hours kind of thing, it's better to use the volume through the week to get that time on your feet to have that cumulative fatigue. So once you hit kind of over 3 hours, that's when great, you hit a 4 hour long run, but then you're trashed for the next 3-4 days and not putting in anything. So finding that balancing point where you can get those big solid sessions in and get that time on your feet, but still be able to train the rest of the week is definitely key.
Exactly. Especially if you're only able to get like 15 miles in during the week too, right? And then all of a sudden you've got 20 in 3 hours or whatever it may take you. So yeah, it's important not to tax yourself for the next week, because every week stacking, every year stacking,
Totally.
and it's super important to show up healthy on race day.
Goal number one. That's what we're seeing, especially a lot in the pro field here. A couple people who are either just squeaking in healthy enough and a few that will be out because of injuries and crashes and stuff, but we'll definitely dive a lot more into that later.
How is your training going for the Hut World Championship coming up on October 11th?
I need to do some more heat training. Speaking of hot, I need to get some time in the sauna there. But yeah, it was good. I went out and had a long ride on the weekend here. I haven't had as much outdoor ride time as I would like this year because we just had the worst summer. Usually we're known for like blue skies, 300 days of sunshine. I got hit with rain and hail and flat tires on every single ride I went out for this year. So I was starting to get a little gun shy if I didn't have someone that I could call to come pick me up. But finally got out for a ride, got a flat before the ride started. So changed the flat and then went on my long ride.
See,
there.
That's why I never leave the trainer. It's all about
there we go, right? So much easier. But needed to get out there, spend the time in TT position stuff. And this weekend was kind of one of those good reminders. It's been pretty full gas the last little while with some work stuff. And I had a kind of longish run on Saturday, and it was a bit of speed in there, and I've been doing mostly kind of aerobic stuff. My hips were tightening up. I wasn't able to hit the last few paces, and just like my legs were actually sore and achy, which I don't feel like super often, because usually the fitness is at a level where you're fine, right? But I hadn't done that speed work, so I was just suffering after that run. I was like hobbling around. And I'm like, oh, that's not great. But went and did the long run the next day, and it was kind of a wide range of like 4 to 6 hours, just anywhere in there. And the first 2 hours, I was suffering. Like I was in TT position, my hips were sore and tight, and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to make it 4 hours. Never mind.
Yeah.
6 in there. But the cool thing was things loosened up as I went through the ride. The first 2 hours felt terrible, but then from like hour 3 to 5, I felt amazing. Everything started clicking, loosening up, moving better, and hour 6 was fine. So it was one of those good reminders where you don't necessarily have to feel amazing at the start of a workout or a race or anything else. Sometimes your body just needs that time to loosen up, kind of get clicking again, and it can turn out to be something pretty great. So like I negative split my power on the ride and felt way better in the last hour than the first hour. So sometimes it's good to have those reminders.
Especially for a race, right? Because not very many races that we do you get a full warm up like you would get for a training run or a training ride, right? You can do whatever you need to do, spend the time you need to do to get ready for that. You get to a race, it's like half the time you can't even get in the water, and you're certainly not getting warmed up and doing your band work and shoulder stretches. And you hear the pros even talk about it. I think like Paula talked about it. She's like, I can't swim anymore because I just don't feel like I can start the way I normally did. And it certainly impacts you. So I've found in some of especially the marathon, like, cause you're literally, it's like, go, like you're running the same damn pace for 26 miles and it's got to start in mile 1 or pretty close to it. You're gonna feel not perfect usually for those first few miles. And even on my normal training runs, it takes a mile or two to start to get into a groove and flow. So yeah, that's a really good reminder for everyone out there to like, don't let your mind play games with you early on and get through it. And if something pops up at like mile 5, it still might go away. Like, I mean, I've dealt with like the numbness of the feet because your feet are swelled up a little bit and then that'll go away. And there's so many things that will pop up. Now, if something pops up at mile 20, that's just your brain telling you you're going a little too far right now, but that's where you just got to be a little psycho.
Harden the F up.
Right.
Oh, totally. So yeah, no, that was really encouraging. But today I got to do something fun. I had an acting job where I shoot commercials here and there just for fun, and about 50% of the time I'm hired because I can ride a bicycle or run really far. So it was so much fun. We traveled up to this beautiful place. And the fun part with these active commercials, they always want you to go uphill because that's the shot that looks so much better than everything else.
Of course.
It was literally like 50 meters up a hill, back down, up a hill, back down. And they had shot the day before with an actor who has a bicycle. And they kept asking me like, do you need a break? Are you okay? Like, and the producer at the first was like, well, we need you to like just try to get some speed going up this thing. Like, we really want to make it look like you're working hard, kind of thing. So I do the first run, last of it, and he's
500
like,
watts.
Can you slow it down a little bit? So that was kind of fun. Apparently, we shot everything a lot faster because they could just go up the hill, reset, go up the hill, reset. They're like, are you good? I'm like, yeah. So,
as long as I can keep track of this, hold on, let me hit the lab button.
Totally. It's so funny. If you spend my Strava, the first bit was like 50 meters that I did over the first 4 miles was 50 meters up, back down, up, back down. And then I got to go around the lake a couple times, so that switched it up a little bit. It's a tough job when I have to go play on my bicycle all day, and a little bit of dodging the cameraman.
Somebody's got to do it.
No, so that was a blast. Nice to kind of mix it up and a bit of a recovery day-ish.
Yeah.
But let's jump into it. There weren't any big races this weekend. We had a couple pro races, but nothing on the pro series or T100 or anything else because everyone is getting ready for the Ironman World Championships in Nice. Before I dive into that, though, because I have a feeling we're going to go for a while on it, I want to bring up our What the F in social media post of the week. And Josh, you can use the one I was talking about earlier because I just remembered another What the F.
Well, I have the social media post of because I was going to talk about what happened at Wisconsin and the female roll down and how the whole
Oh,
age group,
good
the
call.
age,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that got a lot of traction on our social media story the other day, like crazier traction than views and reactions and comments, more so than we've ever seen on our social media page. So yeah, if you haven't seen or heard, at this point that we're now about a month or two into the new slot allocation age group rankings for both 70.3s and Ironmans in 2026 and beyond, which goes back to the last 5 years of data in Kona and Nice World Championships at that distance. So in Wisconsin, they had 40 slots, and in the Ironman world, it's one ranking system for men and women. And if you win your age group, you get an automatic slot. You can take it or not. And if you don't take it, it goes to second. If second doesn't take it, it goes to third. If third doesn't take it, it goes into the pool of 40 slots.
Well, yeah.
Every age group in Wisconsin, every age group winner or second place took their slot. So they were all taken. And then I think one went to third on the women's side, but not a single one went into the pool. So I think that left maybe 24 slots. I think it was like whatever, 16 age groups or something like that total. And after that was all said and done, it slid down to number 32 on the slot allocation. So now remember, I was ranked 71st at Oregon and got a spot, and it went to like 122 because I was just all men in the 70.3 world. On the female side, I went to like 60 something. In Wisconsin, it only dropped down to the 32 ranked age adjusted time, and that ended up being about a 919, 920, something in that range is what you would have needed in your age adjusted world. One of the last two slots, the kid was in the zero adjustment group. He did a 918.34 or something like that. That was his actual time, and he got one of the last three slots. And that's where I got a lot of my data from a guy, Brett Musco. He had just done Challenge Raw, so he was kind of like not really expecting much from Wisconsin, but he got his Kona slot. With that said, I started looking at the data and pulled up all of the top 100. Let's start there. And noticed there were only 16 females in that top 100. The number one ranked person was a male, 60 to 64. His 10 and a half hour Ironman adjusted down to like 8 something. So he was the number one ranked overall. Again, you start looking, it's a lot of the males, 50 plus, that are up at the top of the charts. And it was a lot of the fast guys. Like there were so many super fast male age groupers at this race. Not so much on the female side because a lot of them have already qualified for Kona and they're not going to do an Ironman. What are we, 5 weeks out?
5 weeks, yeah.
Right. So there probably wasn't as many females there, and the males who were doing an Ironman are in Nice or they're qualifying for next year. So it was a pretty stacked field for the men. That all said, there were only 16 females in the top 100. There was about 22% of female finishers, so we're down in that top 100. One of the females was finished second in her age group and third overall and did not get a slot to Kona.
That is brutal.
Yeah. And that really starts to like make you wonder, like, okay, do we need to go to top 3 overall, top 5 overall? And we kind of asked Scott Deroux about this when we had him on in July, but it was more around the 70.3 slot allocations, like where's like the age groups, right? Like, did you talk about doing that? There's no allocation for overall whatsoever. So maybe is that an adjustment you guys like? That's where I think it needs to go. Like the top 3, top 5 overall need to get a slot. And what is that number? I don't know. I don't think there is a perfect answer. And obviously this is all going to play out differently as we go through the year. But this is one of those cases where it's like she had a time that was legit fast in the female world and who knows if she's going to be able to do another Ironman in time for Kona, or like if things happen. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on all that? We had a lot of comments, we had a lot of feedback, and on both sides of the fence. But I my take is maybe the adjustment's as simple as top overall, whatever that number may be, get a slot, and then we go to the age group, and then we go to the slot downs.
Yeah. I mean, I say top 5 overall because I've been second, fourth overall. So, but yeah, this formula still needs some tweaking, right? And even like, yeah, we have Kona coming up, but we also have Nice coming up. So we're not having the top of either the men or the women's racers kind of out there. But this, looking at the age groups and stuff, I think you just still, the data is not quite right when you're when you're using Kona as an example, right? So there are going to be some differences on a course that's more challenging. Where I see this really becoming a problem is on flat courses where we all know there are draft packs out there, right? And more so on the men's side, just because there are more men coming out of the water at the same time because they're a bigger portion of the field, right? So if you have these draft packs with a bunch of guys all riding together, they're going to finish in more of a similar range. So that could be like 20,
pulling that 20%,
together, right? And those are all the slots in there where most of the time the women are more spread out just because there are less of us and we're further through the field, right? So I think there needs to be some tweaking here, because if you think about this conversation about women taking their pro cards versus men taking their pro cards, right? If you can't qualify for Kona and you're coming top 2, like could be second, you could be second overall, and not get that Kona spot. If you're not qualifying for Kona as an age grouper, there's no way that you're taking your pro card because you think, well, I can't even qualify for Kona. Where you have these, 30 other guys who qualified for Kona, like, hey, I'm good enough to qualify for Kona. Maybe I'll think about taking that pro card. Right? Does that make sense? Kind of that headspace, like that you're that good and that close to the top. You're never going to consider taking a pro card, even though you are in that top, 1%, 2% kind of thing.
Because there was one girl in your age group who just happened to be the fastest one that day.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you weren't an hour behind her.
No, it's like minutes. So I don't know. I like the concept of this performance pool. I think that's pretty cool, but I think they need to do a lot more tweaking on this algorithm, because you can't look at something like Kona where the top, like, people in the younger age groups are going to be tightly packed, and then you go into the 50s and 60s, they're going to be a lot more spread out, and that is skewing these results significantly, because the top 20% of the 60-year-olds might be a 2-hour spread, where the top 20% of the 30-year-olds could be a 20-30 minute spread. So it's skewing towards those older age groups at the moment. How they fix that.
I agree. I mean, this new system, I'm all up for it, and we discussed it, and I think we all agree. But when it comes to numbers and statistics, unfortunately, the outliers get left out, which is what just happened. You did an amazing race, but then again, the math, it's not mathing to help you. And I think there needs to be some sort of adjustment to these sort of performances where top athletes get a slot, because it's not on this specific case, I don't think it's fair to the athlete.
I think something like a top 3 overall makes sense to have, like,
absolutely,
the qualifier spots, right? Like top overall, male or female, you're obviously of a caliber that's good enough to go to Kona, right?
We're talking the Ironman distance too, right? It doesn't have to change in the 70.3 world. I don't think.
Right.
I don't think we've right, like, because that is 2 separate days. We got full racks for both male and for females. But when you're fighting over how many racks and bikes that can get into Kona and in transition, it does matter. And I think this is a huge week for the pro world. And I feel like this is going to get kind of like shoveled under the rug here a little bit, but I want to keep it out there for people, because I think it is a conversation that needs to continue to happen, and we're going to see it play out. But I think this conversation and pointing back to Wisconsin this past weekend is something that we can look at. Hey, look, it's also a reminder to go out and finish strong. And And I believe she actually did. She actually passed somebody on the carpet to get to that third place too. But the girl she passed probably won her age group, was an older lady. And so, but I know there was a guy who missed his Kona slot by 1 second. So, I mean, think about, right. And he's missed 70.3 worlds by 1 second before. Like, so this whole 1 second thing is a big thing in his world. But this is the new way of racing too. And I saw somebody else post like somebody kind of like shoving their way down the carpet to get in front of them on the finish line. Like this is what's that was at Santa Cruz. Somebody kind of like shoved their way around Chris from CJ Media. And I was like, look, dude, that's going to be the case. Like, they don't know who you are and what age group you're in. And we all got to beat the person in front of us, right? So every second matters now in this new world. And literally one dude missed by Kona by 1 second. And that was at Wisconsin as well. So there's a lot of different things in play, but top 3 overall and you're not in Kona, that's tough.
Ugh, yeah, no, that's brutal. But unfortunately, we say all this, but it's nothing new either. It's something that's happened many times before in the women's field because oftentimes they'd only have one slot per age group until you got into kind of late 30s and early 40s. So if you're younger than 35 and racing and came in the top overall in the previous system, there's a good chance you didn't get a Kona spot either. So it's tough. I think that's kind of the big thing. If you want more women to be pros and kind of take that field, then they need to have more opportunities. Because if you can't even qualify for Kona as an age grouper, you're not thinking I'm going to become a pro athlete by any means.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Right. Anyways, well, we will definitely keep looking at this, and I think it'll be good to get a full view of an entire year, what that field in Kona looks like after we have a year of this new system to see what those percentages even out as. I will say if you are looking to get a Kona spot as a female athlete, look towards those hillier, harder courses because that'll spread out the fields more so. So that may make it a little bit more of a chance.
Or something like Cozumel where there's 100 slots, races like that too. So I think like you said, Jenna, it's going to play out. I think we have to wait until the crowd that's in Kona this year gets back and starts doing their next season's Kona qualification races. And that's going to really be telling, right? Like, because none of the ones that are actually competing for top 3 overall, top 5 overall, or their age groups are really racing right now. They're ready for Hawaii. I know my coach left for Arizona for heat prep today. And she's potentially a top 5, top 10 overall. Definitely in her age group for sure. So let's let them race in October, and then let's see what starts to happen in January, February, March, whatever they start racing again.
Yeah. Well, let's go on to what the F then. I'll bring up my original one because this guy, I was kind of laughing.
Sorry.
No, I like it. This guy. I was kind of laughing at the T100 drama and stuff because it's like, okay, he's bringing this guy, Tommy Fury, is bringing attention to the sport. Yeah, he didn't make the cutoffs and did a post about how he finished at T100 and 10 days of training and stuff, and really he didn't. But he comes back to us with another endurance sports drama. If you guys haven't checked it out, we'll put it up on our Instagram stories. But this guy did a half marathon this weekend, and you see him running towards the finish line, and we've all seen his run form down the finish line in the T100 video. He literally elbows guys out of the way, like full on pushes them out of his way. Like
150 pounds heavier than the dude that he knocks over.
Like what, 50 feet from the finish line, and he's just I'm like, dude, that's not what this sport is about, right? He says he ran a 1:34 or something. Sure.
Yeah. What, 10Ks?
How many corners did he cut on this one?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, it's good when people bring attention to the sport. Like I said, kind of laughing at that T100 thing. But if you're going to be a dick out there elbowing people down the finish line, like he could have knocked some of these guys over. He's that much bigger than them, kind of thing. That's not cool. That's not what our sport is about.
And if you got that much left in the tank for a sprint finish, few
Yes.
weeks in a row, 2 out of 3. You didn't run the damn
body
race correctly.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Every time I see people sprinting towards the finish line, I'm like, you left so much in the tank.
Running 420 per mile pace. Like, wait, where did that come from?
Yeah, no, you're not Christian Blumenfeld. No.
Oh man. All you can do is kind of shake your head and laugh at it. This guy's been it seems like he's quite the character, but it's a case of don't be that guy. There's no reason to be body checking people down the finish line. I don't care how bad you want that Kona spot. Just don't do it.
Yeah, don't.
In a park run.
He came in like 2000th place or something. Dude.
In a park run.
And here I am applying for the Boston Marathon for the first time with a BQ and knowing I'm not getting in. This guy's freaking elbowing people in a park run.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Insane.
What are we doing?
Let's jump into some talk about real triathletes and athletes.
Which, I mean, just before we jump into this, to Fury's point, there are some elbows and punching, but that's usually during the swim on a WTCS start. Other than that, there's nobody pushing and punching anyone else besides the start of the swim because they're fighting to get to the buoy first. And this guy wasn't fighting to get to any place first. So
local half marathon.
He had to get to 2000th place overall. Come on. He was
makes sense now. Of course. Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think you got that 134 confused with a 234, but whatever.
It could be.
All right. Well, hopefully, if anything, he's bringing attention to endurance sports outside of it through some questionable methods, we'll say. Let's jump into it. We've got the Ironman World Championships happening in Nice for the men's race, and I can't believe it's already here. This field, I am so excited about this race, more so than I've been in a couple years, because we've got everyone in this field. We've got previous winners like Christian Blumenfeld, 3-time winner Patrick Lange. We've got, oh my goodness, everyone in this. Gustav Iden will be there, and it seems like he's back on form. But the thing that kind of excites me about this race is we have some people who are very strong in different disciplines that are going to shake it up completely. This is one of the most, I think, swim-heavy groups we've had, where that's my 2 athletes moving across. And then we've got some insane bike power coming out the back, and then some crazy runners where I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple 230 or under. Well, depending on how hard they push themselves.
You might need a 225 if you're Patrick Lange this year.
Man, you never know. Well, so yeah, I don't even know where to start with this. Like, this is absolutely insane. We've got, how about we break down some of the favorites going in?
Let's start with the swim, because that's and then we can go into the favorites from there. Like, this is gonna start right because you started to mention it. It's gonna start with Jonas Schomburg, Jamie Riddle, and Sam Laidlow, probably off the front and gone.
Yeah.
Right. And how does that play out? And does Jamie Riddle just ride his legs dirty until Jonas and Sam say, thanks very much, bud. We got this from here.
Yeah. See you later.
and as long as Jonas's cockpit stays together and he's ready to ride, like I'm concerned like no one's talking about Jonas Schomburg in this race.
Yeah. And I love Jonas Schomburg because he just has that style where he goes out, he goes hard, he's either going to hang on or implode spectacularly. Like, he's just fearless in this. And we have that same kind of thing with Sam Laidlow too. They just go for it, and it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah. And this time Sam's going to know if Jonas is ahead of him or not. Like, didn't know in Roth.
No. Every time I see Jonas race, for some reason, my head goes to Rocky, where
Ivan
where the guy goes,
Totally.
where the guy goes, if he dies, he dies, and I think that's the way he races. Hey, if I blow up, I'll blow up. Doesn't matter.
I absolutely love it. And yeah, like you mentioned, we're going to have a Jamie Riddle up there too. We're going to have actually a Finn, I don't know how to say his name, Finn Grove-Priest.
And yeah.
Yeah, he's been super solid this year, and he's going to be up at that front. And then so we also have Martin Van Riel. So if you guys hadn't heard, he had an ankle injury last little while. He didn't know if he was actually going to race, and he's kind of coming back to it now. And sounds like ramping up fairly quickly now that he's been given the clear to run. But is he going to go hard in the swim and then hard on the bike just to...
Because he was able to swim the whole time.
Yeah. Well, exactly. It sounds like he was putting a lot more time on the bike there too, and he's a light guy going up those climbs and stuff. Man, so that swim is just going to set off fireworks. I think that's where the question starts to be: how far back is Christian Blumenfeld? How far back is Patrick Lange? Like, this is going to be some serious front pack swim power.
How far back is Sam Long?
I hate to say it. I love Sam Long and his story and all that stuff, but his name is not going to come up once on the coverage.
It will, just for the Americans, and that's it.
Totally, yeah. That's about it. After seeing that T100 performance in there, like he doesn't have the bike ability for this kind of course, right? You know he'll fight to the very end. He spent 2 months in Europe getting ready for this, spending the time training in there. If he's that far back on a T100 bike, like over 10 minutes, I can't see it happening on an Ironman distance.
The one difference with this course is, as opposed to the T100, the pack dimensions do not play in as much in Nice as they do in a T100 race, really, even in the shorter distance. I still think there's so many at 20 meters, there's still a bigger difference than climbing. And even before the big climb in Nice, you still got a long way to go uphill before you even get to that climb too. So there's a lot of work uphill wise. It's just not as steep as the actual climb to the plateau, but there's a lot of work to get there. So, I mean, I don't think Sam's going to factor in the top 10.
No.
I think it would be just shocking if he gets into the top 10, because he runs like his marathon's going to be phenomenal, would be the guess. Like he's not going to give up. We're going to see him on the promenade at some point. So that's where he's going to show up on TV. I do think he has a shot on the bike in this race because he has been preparing for it. If he can get to the top with a chance to descend and see somebody in front of him to watch descend too. Like, think about who he could be with. Like a Cam Wurf could legitimately be with him. A Patrick Lange, probably not. Patrick will be up a little bit, but Cam Wurf could be with him. Joe Skipper could be with him.
See, I think Cam's going to come out of the water well ahead of.
I hope so. I hope so. Because I think Cam could win this damn thing.
Yeah.
That is a bold prediction.
Did you see the dude just did like a 280K ride the other day?
That's
it's like,
a bold prediction.
Yeah.
He did an insane ride over the weekend, a week out from the
coming
Ironman
off of 31K the day before.
Man,
on the run.
I just why?
Easy.
Why?
Well, we're about to find out if peaking is 6 days out instead of 2 weeks out now.
Yeah, because there are no big bike races left. I mean, the Vuelta is on its last week, so he shouldn't be getting ready for any major cycling race unless it's a World Championships as a domestic. But other than that, I just don't see why you would go ahead and put yourself through that sort of workout.
He
right
knows
before
his
Worlds.
swim isn't going to get him close enough, and he's going to have to freaking bike the heck out of it. I mean, look, Gustav did a huge brick like 7 days out. So he's not the only one doing this. And it seems like there are a lot of people that are taking this taper starting now, like starting on Monday, and I don't know, there were some big workouts this last 8 days, 10 days coming in.
Yeah, and it's a little different with the pros because they have they're putting so much volume going in that a taper means something significantly different than an age group.
So they have to work.
Baseline is, their baseline is so high.
Or he's doing a reverse taper where
true.
Where he
goes
absolutely
fair.
Where he goes out and runs 35Ks the night before the race and then is ready to go.
A little extreme on the reverse taper.
Maybe 35K last night, but
And interesting with that brick with Gustav Iden and stuff, it looks like Christian Blumenfeld pulled the plug early on that. So usually we'd see Christian do kind of that big massive brick the week before. We've seen it in the past, but looks like he cut his short. So is that an indicator of he's trying something different? Or is he feeling tired? Like,
I'm not buying the whole Jack scandal that he's blown up and not ready to go. KB's lost weight. I think he's ready to go. He knows exactly where he needs to be. His metrics are fine. Did he have a little back niggle? Probably. Is he ready to go? Yeah. So he's just adjusting his taper and letting Gustav do his thing. I don't need to do it. I'm ready. And I'm being careful because I want to show up healthy. It's not he's hurt. And I think
agree.
he's ready to go. I think he's scary looking right now. I also believe Gustav is scary looking. And it does sound like Casper's a little off the back. But Christian and Gustav, if they come out of the water together, look out.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about some of these bike players in here because we do have a lot of bike strength. And obviously this course with the elevation and descents even. Like, it's interesting with this course because it's not just about the climbing. We've seen in the past athletes can lose so much time on the descents too. But we have some seriously strong bike riders. We're going to see like that Sam Laidlow. He's going to be around that 4:30 mark. Jonas Schomburg will be a couple minutes off. But we got Magnus Ditlev, who's been pretty quiet since his first Ironman this year. Not his first Ironman, but his first Ironman of the year in South Africa.
They had the red card in Frankfurt.
Yeah, red card. That was who really would have been interesting to see what he could do without the
not red card
stress and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, we got Cam Wurf in there, and Cam, his swim has gotten so much better. He'll still be minutes behind, but he could catch up to a lot of that front pack. And then we also have a Christian Hogenhog who didn't think he was going to be at this race because his partner was expecting, but they've had the baby, so he's either going to have the dad strength or he's going to be completely obliterated from the lack of sleep and having a newborn stage. Could go one of two ways there.
One of two ways.
We haven't heard from him since Lake Placid, right? Like he had that crazy 5-week stretch where he went nuts and raced every other week and then back-to-back weeks. And I think he's been pretty much in a build since Lake Placid. So
yeah, he was banking on, did not know if he'd make this race or not. But now he's here. So I think we're going to, it's hard to go past Sam Laidlow for that fastest bike split again. That kid just knows how to ride these hills. It's absolutely insane.
Leon Chevalier.
Yeah, I was going to put up my hand for Martin van Riel because if he's not run ready, he's going to tear everyone's legs on the bike because he's like this interesting character where he has the physique of a climber but the strength of a true time trialist. So he can lay down the power and that power to weight is there. So I think it's going to take advantage of that. And he is like a super technical descender. And I think this bike course suits Martin very well. And if he's not super fit to run, he's going to make sure everybody's hurting on the bike. That's for sure.
And we've seen that before. Like people have injuries going in where they can't run as much and they spend that extra time on their bike and their run or their bike and their swim.
Yeah.
And gain a lot of strength there. So if he hasn't been putting the fatigue in the legs on the run training, he's had to take that downtime, you can better believe he's destroying that bike every chance he gets.
And he was such a good runner anyways. Like any run form now is still top tier. And I just thought of another scenario that gets Sam Laidlow in the picture here.
Yeah.
Matthew, no, listen. This one actually could happen.
Every time, Josh.
And it's another American. Matthew Marquardt spasming in T1 holds him up to bring Sam Laidlow, and the two of them go through the field together. Now, that could happen if Marquardt has not spasmed since 70.3 Worlds last year.
What's the over on the spasming?
See, but he'd have to spasm for 7 minutes.
Yeah. Because Matthew's still second pack, usually chase pack. Yeah. No, I know but what I really wanted to say is we haven't talked about Matthew Marquardt. We haven't talked another biker to consider here too is Nick Thompson. He was right there with Cam Wurf.
So solid in Texas.
Right. So
Really a
Nick's
big
had
pack.
some solid outings. He was right there with Matthew Marquardt in Australia, in Cairns. And we know that he's probably not as comfortable with his run, especially in this field. He could tear his legs up on the bike. He was
Totally.
doing it with Jamie Riddle.
For sure. Yeah. No, for sure. And he's really backed off. So previous years, he was just racing a ton of Ironmans constantly, like monthly. So this year, he's really backed down on the racing to focus in a little bit more. So seeing a fresher athlete coming in, that could definitely be, interesting to watch in that swimming bike.
I just don't know how the hell this is going to play out.
I
I mean,
love, oh, we're going to have these packs, like such defined packs. We know those front swimmers. We know it's going to be like the Sam Laidlow, the Jonas Schomburg, Ben Riel possibly. And
can they be caught is the question.
yeah, that's exactly it. Where are we
That
going to
is the
see these
question.
strong bike packs come through? Well, not even pack, like this could implode. And the fun part about this course too is everyone's going to want to try to stay close. We've seen it so many times before. The last year at the Ironman World Championships, we saw everyone wanting to hang into that group with the 12 meters and just spectacular implosions on the run after that, because I love that mentality where they're like, okay, I'm going to go for broke and either this works or I'm crawling on the side of the road. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that this year too, because this course is just crazy.
They will have some of the difference with this course too, like you said, like there's a big separation that can happen on that descent. The other piece that the descent plays is you come into T2 with a lot fresher legs than you could potentially come in with even in Kona, because now you've had that descent to flush all that lactate out that you built up. So I think there's a lot of people that are playing that game, like how much lactate can I flush? How much lactate can I build? Right. Where is that line going up that I can get rid of coming down and still run the way I need to? So that'll be a very fine line, which that scares me with like a Matthew Marquardt too. Like I really, really feel like he's had such a good year, but he's raced a ton, and we all know that he's just exhausted by nature in what he does with his job. But it's so hard not to consider him because he's had such a good year. He's won 2 Ironmans. And I mean, he beat Trevor Foley on the run at Lake Placid. And like Trevor's a runner. And
after cramping.
after cramping. And both times after some serious time in T1 cramping. So
insane.
If he cuts that down to a minute in T1, like that's a huge factor. But again, no one's catching Laidlow and Schomburg if they have the day they want to have. I think that's what it comes down to. Like I think they can both get off far enough. Maybe Magnus. I mean, but
Patrick Lange, I don't think we're giving enough.
He can't bike though. He can't bike with them. That's the thing.
But he was, so if you think back in 2023, he was in second place at this race, right? Sam Laidlow was the only one who beat him on this course in this race. And he ran a 2:32. The next fastest time on the run, let's see, was a 2:36. So 4 minutes behind was Matt Hansen, who came 21st. So, and that year we saw Sam Laidlow run 2:41.46, almost 9 minutes slower, right? So now Patrick Lange knows that course, and he knows kind of what he has to do there, and that he doesn't necessarily need a 2:30, like sub 2:30 marathon to take this thing. He just needs a little bit more time on the bike. I think this guy is just so often so overlooked for someone who's won the Ironman World Championships 3 times overall. I think now he's been so close and had a pretty mediocre year, to be fair.
But injured. So there is the injury factor with Patrick this year, and I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it either. Like he didn't have the race in Texas that he wanted to have. He's been injured since, hasn't raced since, and that could be a blessing. It might not, but he hasn't raced for a reason, and that's because he was injured. And you've got others that have raced and are way fitter than they were 2 years ago on this course.
Yeah.
And Magnus, we know, Magnus didn't do Roth this year for one specific reason, and that is to catch Laidlow on the bike and be able to run with him. I just don't think Patrick can catch Jonas, Magnus, and Sam this year.
Curious to see if that injury, if he could still get that bike time in there, is it the same thing as what we're kind of looking at with Martin Van Riel kind of deal?
And
Or
Martin,
maybe he's able to put more time get in there.
He can catch Martin because of the run factor, maybe.
Okay, so let's talk about Magnus Ditlev. We know he's a super uber biker, and he's been quiet this year. Like we really haven't seen a lot from him. Like you said, he's targeting this race, and we know how good he is on a bike. Outside of that run with the whole disqualification and everything going on, I don't think we can take that as a real data point, because thinking you're disqualified, that's got to be near impossible to push to your max. Thinking it might all be for nothing later on. But are we going to see him catch up to Sam Laidlow on this course? What do we think?
I think so.
So the last time we saw him bike was St. George too, right? Like, and he had the flat, and even then Lionel was catching him. So, man, but Magnus still had a good Frankfurt and had a good bike. I think. What did he have, a 359 in Frankfurt? Like, like he didn't have good bike legs and threw down a 359.
Something like that.
Yeah, and we saw last time we were here, it looks like he biked about 4 minutes slower than Sam Laidlow, but I think, again, he's definitely changed that to another level over the last little while. We saw him a lot closer come Kona the following year, so.
Yeah, I listened to his Bob Babbitt. I didn't realize how late in the game that he became a cyclist. Like, cycling was like the least of his capabilities when he joined triathlon. And I didn't realize that because he's such an Uber biker, right? And so that was an interesting fact that I got out of that. I pretty much listened to all of the Bobs at this point.
Really get on those.
Yeah, so well, you got plenty of time still. They're great for trainer and treadmill rides. But that was an interesting one, because now that means 2 years later, with all the time he's put in for this race and not racing and just training, he was there earlier in the year, and now he's been back. He was coming in, I think he flew yesterday, is there, but he's been there already this year. How much of that knowledge is going to play into the fact of how he rides this course? And again, does he have the swim he has? Yes, he can catch them on the bike. I don't
totally.
Yeah. Like, his swim has gotten so much better in there too. And with Magnus, it's always tough because so much of his bike domination was a lot of it attention to detail, finding those 1%
aerodynamics
in the aerodynamics and stuff. And I think a lot of the men are starting to catch up and spend that time doing the same thing. And this course negates a lot of that, to be fair, when you're looking at going just up and down. So really curious to see what he'll pull out on this bike course against Sam Laidlow, who just seems to dance up these hills. Like, he knows these hills.
Although it was interesting, because you brought up earlier, before we started recording, was the windscape or whatever the data that we were seeing, right? The biggest drag, even on the hills, is still air. So your CDA still matters going up, and yeah, he's a bigger dude, but so is Sam Laidlow. I mean, they're both big dudes. Schomburg's not tiny either. But Fede's boy, Martin Van Riel, is tiny and can fly up this hill. And I think that's Patrick Lange has always been one of his bread and butters, is that he's tiny. He's got his power to weight ratio. It's not the greatest cyclist, but his power to weight ratio is up there, and his run legs are still there when he needs them.
And that's exactly it. The run legs are there when he needs them. He can do those bike rides and still fit down killer split. Cool. So I think, man, if Patrick Lange can stay within like 6-7 minutes of the front of the race, he's still a threat. Like, he really is when it comes to a race like this. So Gustav Iden. So he, just looking like online and stuff, he's been on an upward trajectory this year. He just seems happy and loving it. And that is almost the most dangerous Gustav.
Which I was going to mention, like, a silent Magnus is probably the most dangerous Magnus we're going to see, as a happy Gustav. So
totally. He's pulling out the lucky hat.
The two parts of the spectrum.
And his countdown, he missed one day.
So Gustav is happy. He seems like he's in a good mental space, and I think only be good for the sport if he comes full circle in Nice when he won his first World Championship back in 2019.
Yeah.
There, 70.3 worlds, and then wins over here and marks a comeback. Not that he was ever gone, but to that elite top level of competition, I think it'll be good for Gustav, and I think a lot of people would be happy, myself included, if he pulls it off. And yeah, like Josh was mentioning before, he looks scary fit. And every time I see pictures of athletes getting ready for World Championships, there's a quote by Seve Kinley. I know you guys know it, but there's a fine line between being fit and being effed. So who knows? We're gonna see what happens, but they're threading the needle right there with when it comes to being ready or a bust.
It really seems like we've seen that a lot more this year. Like, I don't know if maybe I wasn't paying attention before, but just everyone looks super lean for these climbs, and hearing about the stripped down bikes with less paint on them, just to make sure it's as light as possible in there for a course like this. It's going to be telling who's fit or effed come race day. There's definitely, so some people have pushed it a little bit.
All right, let's throw some couple more names wild card wise out there. But names, and Rudy Von Berg's not a wild card, but we haven't talked about yet again. We say it every time we talk about him after he gets on a podium. I'm not allowing it to happen again because Rudy Von Berg's been on the podium the last 2 World Championships, including in Nice. So he's right there, top 4, top 5, top 3. He's there. He loves this territory. He grew up riding these hills. He knows it really well. That's one. The other name that we haven't talked about, again, because of the injury and recent history factors, Daniel Bekkegaard, who's always there in an Ironman World Championship as well. So Daniel Bekkegaard, Leon Chevalier, and Rudy Von Berg, those 3 names right there could be a factor come the Chaminade.
Absolutely.
It really could be. Yeah, it is crazy how we never give him a call there. And here, looking at kind of Torsten's ratings and stuff, he's going to be in that pack likely with like a Christian and Sam Laidlow and stuff off the swim. So he's going to be in that kind of second, just holding on to the first pack as they head out. And, he's always got a solid bike and then a solid ride. And that's just why we never seem to chat about him till the end.
He's good across all.
Steady, right?
Yeah.
He has no standard, but he just keeps going and ticking people off as he goes.
And it's such a great playbook for being a factor in these races because of everything we just talked about, because the other guys are going to go for broke and go and blow up and you're going to reel people in. Does that mean he's ever going to win one with that strategy? That's the difference.
That's the question. Yeah, and then we got someone like Antonio Benito Lopez. He's been super solid and stuff too, and he's up there with a shot.
Where did that Spanish pronunciation came from, Jenna? That was perfect. My God.
It's all that acting she did today.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, who's that person?
I know, kind of random. Me and Milani from the team are trying to keep each other in line for a Duolingo, like learning Spanish. To go ride bikes more in Spain.
She's got another streak going.
Oh man, yeah, we're on day 3.
Perfect.
So obviously I'm a Spanish pro at this point.
Yeah, but like the Fury guy, on 10 days, fluent Spanish.
There we go, exactly. I will totally claim it as I translate everything through ChatGPT. But okay.
Okay, sorry, off track.
Yeah, again, so he'll be in kind of that second pack around that 47 minutes and stuff, and then he has a solid bike. He's not going to be far off someone like Christian Blumenfeld, Patrick Lange kind of time frame on the bike. And then who knows what he can do on that run, holding on. Like, he's definitely someone that we've been seeing be pretty consistent here the last little while.
Yeah. And he's also been building for this as well, too. So I also think, like, does a young gun become a factor here, or does experience win, too? Because you mentioned it early on. Finn is like, that was ridiculous with that time he threw down. And it's like, now it was somewhat recent. So he's got a lot of tax on those legs with that.
Quick turnarounds.
Yeah. But it's a hard time to overlook. And I mean, and he's going to be up there on the swim. And all of a sudden your mind's like, oh, wait, I feel good today.
Gonna go there.
I recognize these guys in front of me.
No, absolutely. And that's just it. You know what we say, the young guns, but that's basically Sam Laidlow. He's the young gun who just goes for it
in his
anyways.
early 20s.
Man. So, okay. Well, why don't we go through some picks here? Let's say like top 3, who do we think is going to take it on the day there? This is a tough one to choose.
I was going to say, can we get a top 10?
Right? Just 10 names and
just 10 names.
Any possible order.
I think if you go like 80% with your top 10, you've done well.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
If you get 8 out of the top 10, like that's a good weekend. Thank God I don't gamble triathlon, Ironman.
This is too extreme. And there have been past years where we've had, you have a pretty good inkling. We're always going to get some shakeups in the overall top 5 or podium and stuff. But usually they have some idea. This year, I'm just like, I don't know. The dynamics of this race could be absolutely insane. Totally. I don't even know. Man. Okay, Josh, who do you got in your podium?
You're making me go first. We're gonna shake it up and let you guys have fun. I like Fede. I think I would love to see Gustav win. And I think he can.
Yeah.
But I think they are gonna blow up. Because they're gonna push too hard. Jonas Schomburg knows he's going to blow up and has done everything possible to not. And I think Jonas Schomburg for the top step, the shocker of the world.
That would be, what's he done? Like 2 Ironmans?
Okay.
And the craziest bike legs of known to man. And he was gonna have another like bike record if his bike didn't fall apart. Jonas Schomburg. I'm not going with an American. All right. Jonas Schomburg, Gustav Iden, who's not going to blow up, and then Rudy Von Berg in third again.
I like it. Yeah, I'm making the big calls here. Okay, how about you, Fede? Who do you got?
I'm gonna go a bit more conservative on my picks. I think honestly, I think Gustav can win the whole thing, and it'll be amazing, like I said, for the sport and for him. I think he's hungry. He found that fire in his belly again, and yeah, I think Gustav is gonna take the top step there. Second place, I'm gonna go Magnus, and yeah, I think Magnus is gonna be able to hold up all the fast runners because, yeah, I think the bike is gonna play a bigger factor than we think, and that's why I'm also picking Martin van Riel on third, because I think that bike pack, Magnus, Martin, Laidlow, Iden, are all going to be riding together, and the smartest riders are going to be the ones that come out with fresh legs. Yeah, and also let's not forget about that long descent to T2. Aerodynamics still play a factor there, and I think the Magnuses, the Gustavs, the Martins are going to take advantage of that descent towards T2. So yeah, Gustav, Magnus, Martin. What about you, Jenna?
Okay, man.
I mean, you got like 7 names we haven't even mentioned that could win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to make a big shout and say Patrick Lange is going to win and get his 4th Ironman World Championship title there. I think these guys are going to blow themselves up on the bike. I think we're going to see a repeat of kind of Kona last year where everyone just goes so hard on this bike that they have nothing left on the run. He can run off of a hard bike, but he'll kind of go his own pace a little bit more, I think. I'll go Patrick Lange, and then I want to say man, I keep going back and forth. And we're gonna have a bit of a shocker with him. Martin Van Riel he's put in that time on the bike and the swim, and he's always good on the swim. But I think the run will come back to him, just 'cause he's that class of a runner. And then Christian Blumenfeld. You can't count this guy out. Like, he's gonna be up there or die trying.
I like
The
it.
names that the names that we don't even have on our podium. Like
We could still do like
the
3
range
rounds
of
of this,
names.
and
How many races have
Still
we
not
called
get
this year where we're like, okay, you can't pick this person because we all know they're gonna win. They're like, we barely crossed over on any names with the three of us making our predictions.
I like it.
right.
I like it. Kieran Linders, by the way, we didn't even mention because he just can't run, really, usually. But again, you want to talk about somebody who could play into the bike dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
I'm so curious to see how Cam Wurf goes on this.
Yeah,
like, I
mean, you want to talk about love to see somebody on a podium.
Man, that'd be so good. And he hasn't been racing on the Pro Tour this year. He's been focused on triathlon and stuff, and that would be pretty cool to see.
That's
he just
the
has to stay upright and
viewing.
not crash.
That's the other viewing you guys got to do too if you haven't done it yet. Is the Feed Talbot series, and
Yeah.
I would imagine episode 3 should have dropped today. So yeah, Cam Wurf was episode 2.
I'll have to go check those out. So much content lately, and I've been getting outside more, ironically.
That's why we're sticking to 1 week only instead of every day. So
yeah, man, it is intense. But that's the funny part. There's so much going on between the triathlon gossip, the controversy, the Tommy Furies of the world, the Ironman World Championships. We could go on for days with all of it. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, definitely go give us a follow if you haven't already on Instagram at Another Triathlon Podcast, and then check us out on YouTube as well. And if you haven't already, go check out Mana Apparel. We've got the team applications are open until September 14th, race day for the Ironman World Championships. And come join a pretty incredible team with the best community, lots of sponsor discounts, and some fun camps coming up next year, including one in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is going to be an absolute blast. But on that, anything more on your guys' side for goings on? I think that's a lot of triathlon this weekend.
Yeah, good thing I got my long run on Saturday. I'm not doing anything on Sunday until after this race is over.
Right.
There we go. Awesome. Well, thank you as always, guys, for joining me, and we will be back to chat next week and break it all down.
Plenty to talk about.
Absolutely.
See you guys.